The quantum detection arrays aboard the Earth Defense Force Station Hyperion lit up like a Christmas tree. Lieutenant Commander Elena Santos blinked twice, certain she was hallucinating from too much synthetic caffeine. The signal patterns dancing across her holographic display defied everything she knew about physics. "Computer, run full spectrum analysis on signal key D7249, she ordered, her fingers flying across the haptic interface. The artificial intelligence responded instantly, confirmation pings echoing through her neural link. The signal was like nothing humanity had ever encountered, a quantum-entangled transmission that somehow maintained coherence across vast distances. It carried with it snippets of data that painted a horrifying picture. A peaceful species called the Zendari was under attack by something they called the Kronth Empire. Their transmissions spoke of planetary bombardments, systematic genocide, and billions already dead. Elena's hand trembled slightly as she initiated the emergency protocols. Within seconds, her findings were being transmitted directly to Earth Fleet Command. She didn't have to wait long for a response. Admiral Chen's weathered face materialized in a holoprojection before her station. "Lieutenant Commander, I've reviewed your preliminary analysis. Are you absolutely certain about these findings?" "Yes, sir," Elena replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "The quantum signature is unlike anything in our database, but the distress patterns are unmistakable. Someone out there needs help, and they're using technology we barely understand to ask for it." The Admiral's expression hardened. "The Council of Nations is already convening. This signal, it changes everything. First contact through a distress call." He paused, studying additional data streams floating beside his projection. "We're mobilizing the first response fleet. The EDF Terminus will serve as flagship." Elena felt her breath catch. The Terminus was Earth's most advanced warship, a marvel of human engineering and determination. Its crew was legendary for pulling off the impossible. "Sir," she began, choosing her words carefully, "request permission to join the response fleet. I'm the most familiar with the signal patterns, and I've been leading the quantum communications research team." Admiral Chen's hologram smiled slightly. "Already approved, Commander. You're being promoted effective immediately. The Terminus needs a new communications chief. Captain Sarah Chen, my daughter, specifically requested you." Within hours, Elena found herself aboard a shuttle racing toward the massive form of the Terminus. The ship was a testament to human ingenuity. 3 kilometers of advanced alloys and experimental technologies wrapped around a quantum core that theoretically allowed it to bend space itself. The shuttle bay doors parted like massive jaws, swallowing her transport whole. As Elena stepped onto the Terminus's deck for the first time, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Captain Chen's voice echoed through the corridors. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. First response fleet preparing for immediate departure." Elena ran to her new post on the bridge, her mind racing. Humanity had dreamed of first contact for centuries, imagining peaceful meetings or terrifying invasions. Nobody had expected it to come like this, a desperate cry for help from an unknown species, using technology that should have been impossible. As she took her station, Captain Chen turned to address her directly. "Welcome aboard, Commander Santos. I hope you're ready to make history. We're about to attempt something unprecedented, a blind quantum jump to the signal's origin point." Elena's fingers flew across her console, interfacing with the ship's AI, to begin calibrating the quantum arrays. "Ready as I'll ever be, Captain. The signal is maintaining coherence. I'm feeding coordinates to navigation now." Around them, the bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, preparing for humanity's first faster-than-light journey into unknown space. They had no idea what they would find at the other end, only that someone needed help. And if there was one thing humans had never learned to ignore, it was a cry for help. "All ships report ready, Captain," the tactical officer announced. "First response fleet in jump formation." Captain Chen stood from her command chair, her presence commanding attention. "Then let's not keep our new friends waiting. Commander Santos, initiate quantum jump on my mark. Alina's hand hovered over the activation sequence, her heart pounding. Everything humanity knew about the universe was about to change, all because of a single distress call from the stars. Mark. The universe bent around them as 12 of Earth's most advanced warships leaped into the unknown, carrying with them humanity's first response to an alien cry for help. We're coming. Reality snapped back into focus as the first response fleet emerged from quantum space. The bridge crew of the terminus collectively gasped at the scene before them. Through the main viewport, they witnessed a solar system in chaos. Multiple contacts. Lieutenant Park at Tactical shouted, his hands dancing across his station. Reading dozens of large vessels in orbit around the third planet. Energy signatures are off the charts. Alina's quantum arrays were already processing the flood of new data. The attacking ships were massive. Angular vessels of dark metal that seemed to absorb light itself. They moved with impossible precision, their weapons leaving trails of devastation across the face of a blue-green world below. Incoming transmission, Alina announced, her systems automatically decoding the alien languages. It's from the surface. Patching it through. A holographic figure materialized on the bridge. Tall, graceful, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. The Zendari's eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and hope. Unknown vessels. The alien spoke, its words automatically translated. You have answered our call when none other would. The Kronth Empire seeks our extinction because we refuse to share our quantum communication technology. They believe only the strong deserve to survive in this galaxy. We beg for your aid. Captain Chen stood, her expression resolute. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force Vessel Terminus. We received your distress call, and we're here to help. What's your situation? We have millions of civilians in underground shelters. The Zendari replied. Our defensive capabilities are nearly exhausted. The Kronth will soon begin planetary bombardment to crack our world's crust. The transmission cut off as a massive energy surge lit up the tactical displays. One of the Kronth vessels had just obliterated a major population center. All ships, battle formations. Captain Chen commanded. Priority is civilian evacuation and planetary defense. Commander Santos, get me a channel to the Kronth fleet. Alina's fingers flew across her console. Channel open, Captain. A new hologram appeared. A hulking, armored figure with cybernetic augmentations visible across its gray skin. The Kronth commander's voice was like grinding metal. Primitive vessels, you dare interfere with imperial justice. The Zendari defied the natural order. Their weakness must be purged. This is your only warning, Chen replied, her voice cold. Cease your attack and withdraw from this system, or we will be forced to respond with deadly force. The Kronth commander laughed, a horrible mechanical sound. Your vessels are smaller than our smallest escorts. Your technology is centuries behind ours. What could you possibly? Chen cut the transmission with a gesture. All ships, execute battle plan Theta. Show them what primitive humans can do. The first response fleet exploded into action. The terminus and its escorts accelerated at speeds that should have turned their crews to paste, protected by experimental inertial dampeners that bent physics itself. The Kronth vessels fired, their energy weapons powerful enough to crack planets. But humanity had learned long ago that the best technology wasn't always the most advanced, it was the most adaptable. The quantum shields of the Earth ships fractured the enemy beams, dispersing their energy harmlessly into subspace. Return fire from human vessels seemed pathetically weak by comparison, until the primitive projectiles phase-shifted mid-flight, bypassing the Kronth's supposedly impenetrable defenses. Multiple direct hits, Park reported as the first Kronth ship erupted in flames. Their shields weren't designed to stop physical ammunition. They never expected anyone would still use primitive kinetic weapons. Elena coordinated with the other ships. Using the quantum communication networks, she understood better than anyone to keep the fleet moving as a single organism. The Kronth's superior technology meant nothing against human ingenuity and the willingness to try solutions other species had long abandoned as obsolete. Civilian evacuation ships launching from the surface, Lieutenant Park reported. The Kronth are redirecting forces to intercept. Not happening, Chen growled. All ships initiate Operation Aegis. Form the shield wall. The human fleet responded instantly, taking up positions between the evacuation ships and the Kronth fleet. What followed was a display of coordination and sacrifice that would be remembered for generations. Earth vessels deliberately took hits meant for civilian transports, their crews fighting to maintain position even as their ships burned around them. The terminus shuddered as another Kronth beam struck home. Hull breach on decks 7 through 9, the damage control AI reported. Emergency force fields holding. Status of the evacuation. Chen demanded. 30% complete, Elena reported, monitoring the quantum feeds. The Zendari are moving as fast as they can, but there are millions to transport. Then we hold, Chen replied simply. No matter the cost. The battle raged on, a desperate dance of sacrifice and determination. Human vessels, their hulls scared and burning, stood firm against an enemy that should have been able to swat them aside like insects. But the Kronth had never encountered a species willing to die for strangers, never faced an enemy that considered impossible challenge rather than a limitation. One by one, the mighty warships of the Kronth Empire began to fall, their advanced technology useless against humanity's unconventional tactics and sheer bloody-minded determination to protect the innocent. The cost was horrible. 3 human ships had already been lost, their crews fighting to the last second to protect the civilian evacuees. But they held. Against all odds, against an enemy with superior technology and overwhelming numbers, the first response fleet held their line. Because that's what humans did when lives were at stake. They held the line, no matter the cost. The terminus bridge was filled with smoke as damage control teams fought to keep critical systems online. Captain Chen watched the tactical display with unwavering focus as more Kronth warships entered the system. Evacuation status, she demanded, not taking her eyes off the incoming threats. 65% complete, Elena reported, her voice hoarse from the acrid smoke. But the Kronth reinforcements will reach us before we finish. Their quantum signatures suggest these are their elite warships. The tactical display showed the grim reality. The first response fleet had bloodied the Kronth Empire's nose, destroying 7 of their capital ships through innovative tactics and sheer determination. But now 15 fresh warships were bearing down on them, each one larger than the terminus. Lieutenant Park, analysis of the new contacts. Their energy readings are off the scale, Captain. These aren't standard warships. They're planet killers. One shot from their main weapons could crack a continental plate. Chen's expression remained calm, but her knuckles whitened as she gripped her command chair. Commander Santos, status of Project Longshot. Elena's hands flew across her quantum arrays. Ready for deployment, Captain. But the simulations only gave it a 30% chance of success. We'd be betting everything on an untested theory. Better odds than we'll have against those planet killers. Chen opened a channel to the fleet. All vessels, this is Captain Chen. You've all fought with honor and courage today, protecting people we'd never met because it was the right thing to do. Now I'm asking for one more impossible task. She paused, watching the Kronth fleet draw closer. We're about to attempt something unprecedented. If it works, we save everyone. If it fails, we die knowing we gave everything to protect the innocent. All ships, execute Project Longshot on my mark. The remaining Earth vessels moved into a precise formation, their quantum cores pulsing in perfect synchronization. Elena's fingers danced across her console, linking the ship's systems in ways that violated half a dozen laws of physics. Kronth fleet entering weapons range, Park announced. They're charging main guns. All ships, mark. Energy surged between the Earth vessels as Elena activated the experimental quantum network. The space between the ships began to twist and distort as dozens of quantum cores worked in perfect harmony, creating something that should have been impossible. The Kronth fleet opened fire, their planet-killing weapons lancing out toward the human ships. But the beams never reached their targets. Instead, they vanished into what appeared to be a tear in space itself, a quantum singularity created by the combined power of the Earth fleet. "Quantum mirror is holding," Elena shouted over the groaning of the Terminus' stressed hull. "Redirecting enemy fire. Now." The laws of physics bent and broke as the combined firepower of 15 Kronth planet killers emerged from another quantum tear, directly behind their own fleet. The Kronth had just enough time to realize their own weapons had been turned against them before their ships were consumed by their own power. Direct hits. Park's voice was filled with disbelief. Multiple Kronth vessels destroyed, reading massive secondary explosions throughout their fleet. The bridge crew watched in awe as the mighty Kronth armada tore itself apart, their own devastating weapons proving to be their undoing. Humanity's primitive understanding of quantum mechanics had just turned the Empire's greatest strength into a fatal weakness. But victory had come at a terrible price. The quantum mirror had pushed their ships beyond their design limits. Warning alarms blared across every console as systems began to fail. Structural integrity failing, the AI warned. Multiple quantum core breaches imminent. Evacuation status, Chen demanded. 90% complete, Elena reported. Just a few more minutes. The fleet won't last that long, Park interjected. Core containment is failing across all ships. We have maybe 2 minutes before total system collapse. Chen's expression hardened. Commander Santos, prepare to execute Emergency Protocol Omega. Transfer all remaining power to the civilian evacuation ships. We'll buy them the time they need. Elena's hands trembled slightly as she input the commands. Protocol Omega would channel their failing quantum core's power into one final protective surge, shielding the evacuation ships at the cost of their own vessels. "It's been an honor," Chen said simply, addressing her crew. "We came here to save lives, and that's exactly what we're going to do, for Earth and for all those who stand against tyranny." The remaining Earth ships formed their final line, their dying systems pouring every last ounce of power into protecting the Zendari evacuees. As quantum cores went critical across the fleet, humanity's greatest warriors prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice, proving that true strength lay not in superior technology, but in the willingness to give everything to protect others. As the quantum cores reached critical levels, Elena Santos made a discovery that would change everything. Her fingers flew across the quantum arrays, mind racing as she analyzed the impossible readings before her. "Captain, the Zendari quantum technology. It's not just for communication. Their evacuation ships are generating quantum fields that could theoretically preserve matter at the subatomic level." Captain Chen grasped the implications immediately. "Can we interface our failing cores with their technology?" "Yes, but we'd need their help. Their quantum preservation fields could save our crews, but we'd lose the ships." Chen didn't hesitate. "Open a channel to the Zendari fleet." The holographic form of the Zendari leader appeared, their iridescent skin dimmed with concern. "Captain Chen, our sensors detect your ships are failing. You've sacrificed too much for us already." "No such thing as too much sacrifice when protecting the innocent," Chen replied. "But we need your help. Commander Santos is sending you quantum protocols. If you're willing, we might all survive this day." The Zendari's eyes widened as they reviewed the data. "This is brilliant. Primitive technology combined with advanced quantum mechanics in ways we never imagined. Yes, we can help." What followed was a desperate race against time. As the Earth ships' cores began their final collapse, the Zendari vessels moved into precise positions. Elena coordinated the most ambitious quantum transfer in human history, the preservation and transmission of entire crews through subspace. All hands, prepare for quantum transfer, Chen announced ship-wide. And someone make sure we record this. The scientists back home are never going to believe it. The terminus shuddered violently as its quantum core entered the final stages of collapse. Around them, space itself seemed to twist and fold as Zendari quantum fields merged with human technology in ways that defied conventional physics. Transfer beginning, Elena reported, her voice steady despite the chaos. First wave of crew signatures successfully preserved in Zendari quantum buffer. Through the viewport, they watched as their ships began to break apart, the metal itself seeming to dissolve into quantum energy. But instead of death, each disintegrating vessel released its crew into the waiting quantum fields, their matter preserved at the most fundamental level. 80% of fleet crew transferred, Elena announced as warnings blared across her failing console. Terminus is last in queue. Core collapse in 15 seconds. Transfer command staff first, Chen ordered. Begging your pardon, Captain, Elena replied with a slight smile. But I'd locked out those controls. We all go together, or not at all. Chen's response was cut off as the terminus's hull finally gave way. The bridge crew felt a moment of indescribable sensation as their bodies were converted to quantum information, transmitted through subspace, and reassembled within the Zendari vessels. Elena opened her eyes to find herself standing in a vast chamber of crystalline architecture, surrounded by her fellow crew members. Through nearby viewports, they watched as the last remnants of the Earth fleet disappeared in a final burst of quantum energy. Transfer complete, a Zendari technician announced. 100% crew survival across all Earth vessels. We never imagined such a thing was possible. Captain Chen helped a stumbling crewman to his feet. Humanity has a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. Sometimes the best solutions come when you have no other choice. The Zendari leader approached, bowing deeply. You've saved our entire species, and in doing so, showed us that true advancement comes not from technological superiority, but from the courage to attempt the impossible. Speaking of impossible, Elena interjected, studying readings on a Zendari console, the quantum transfer had an unexpected side effect. The collapse of our cores created a sustained quantum disruption in the system. No Kronth ship will be able to enter this space for at least a century. Chen smiled. Then I'd say today was a complete success. We saved millions of lives, proved that humanity's primitive innovation could defeat superior technology, and ensured the Zendari will have time to rebuild. Not bad for a day's work. And gained invaluable allies, the Zendari leader added. Once we establish our new colony, we would be honored to share our quantum preservation technology with Earth. Perhaps together, we can show the galaxy that true strength lies not in domination, but in the willingness to help others at any cost. 1 year after the Battle of Zendari space, the Great Hall of the Galactic Council hummed with anticipation. Representatives from 100 spacefaring civilizations gathered to witness something unprecedented, Earth's formal introduction to the galactic community. Elena Santos stood beside Captain Chen, both wearing their dress uniforms adorned with the newly created Zendari star, a quantum crystal that shimmered with its own inner light. The council chamber itself was a testament to advanced technology, with crystalline architecture that seemed to defy gravity. The council elder, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical frame, addressed the assembly. We gather today to acknowledge a turning point in galactic history. The actions of humanity in defense of the Zendari people have forced us to reconsider many of our most fundamental assumptions. Holographic displays activated throughout the chamber, showing footage from the battle. The assembled representatives watched in amazement as Earth's primitive fleet defeated the supposedly invincible Kronth through innovation and sacrifice. The Kronth Empire's defeat marked the end of their policy of technological supremacy, the elder continued. But more importantly, it demonstrated that true advancement comes not from technological superiority, but from the courage to attempt the impossible and the wisdom to value life above power. The Zendari ambassador stepped forward. Thanks to humanity's intervention, our people have established a new home. The quantum disruption field created by their sacrifice continues to protect our system, and our combined research into quantum preservation technology has opened new frontiers in science. But perhaps most significantly, the ambassador continued, humanity showed us that what we considered primitive technology could be revolutionary when applied in innovative ways. The integration of Earth's quantum core designs with our preservation fields has created possibilities we never imagined. Captain Chen stepped forward to address the council. Earth doesn't seek dominion or power. We answered the Zenduri call because it was right, not because it was advantageous. We offer the same hand of friendship to all peaceful species, regardless of their technological level. The Council Elders' energy form pulsed with approval. The Kronth Empire has sued for peace, their philosophy of technological supremacy shattered. A new age of cooperation dawns, sparked by a species many considered too primitive to matter. In recognition of this, the Elder announced, the Council has approved the establishment of the Earth Zenduri Institute of Quantum Innovation. This facility will combine humanity's creative approach to physics with advanced alien technology, under one crucial condition. All discoveries must be shared freely with peaceful species, regardless of their development level. Elena felt a surge of pride as she watched the council members signal their approval. Humanity's actions had not just saved one species, they had changed the very nature of galactic politics. Finally, the Elder concluded, we addressed the matter of the Kronth Empire's reparations. Their fleet now stands ready to assist in establishing quantum communication networks between all peaceful worlds, ensuring that no cry for help will ever go unanswered again. As the council session concluded, Elena found herself approached by a young Zenduri scientist. Commander Santos, our latest quantum simulations suggest your primitive approach to core manipulation might have applications we never considered. Would you be interested in collaborating on some experiments? Elena smiled, remembering how far they'd come from that first desperate distress signal. I'd be honored. After all, the best solutions often come from combining different perspectives. As she followed the Zenduri to their research facility, Elena reflected on humanity's journey. They had entered the galactic stage, not through conquest or technological superiority, but through their willingness to help others at any cost. Their primitive technology, combined with determination and innovation, had changed the galaxy forever. The quantum crystal on her uniform caught the light, reminding her of the lives lost and saved that day. Humanity had proven that true advancement came not from having the most powerful technology, but from having the courage to use what you had to help others. And in doing so, they had created something far more valuable than technological supremacy. They had created hope. Hope that in a vast and often dangerous galaxy, there would always be those willing to answer a cry for help, no matter the cost. Because that's what humans did. They helped, they innovated, and they never, ever gave up.